Saved by grace alone, not by effort, not by perfection, not by how good you think you are, but by grace. The Bible says in Ephesians 2 verse 8 to 9, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast." That means your salvation is not something you earn, it is something you receive, and many people struggle with this truth. Because everything in life teaches us to earn things. You work for money, you study for results, you strive for success. So naturally, we think we must also work for God's acceptance. But grace breaks that mindset completely. Grace says, you don't qualify, yet you are chosen. Grace says, you don't deserve it, yet it is given. Grace says, you could never earn it, yet it is yours. Grace is unearned favor, undeserved love, a gift you could never work for. And if it were about works, then salvation would become a competition. Who is more righteous? Who prays more? Who sins less? But God removed that system, so that no one can boast, so that no one can stand before Him and say, I made it here by my strength. No, it is grace. Think about this. If salvation could be earned, then Jesus would not have needed to die. But because we could never meet the standard, God made a way. The Bible says in Romans chapter 3 verse 23, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." Not some people, all. That means nobody qualifies on their own. And that is why grace is necessary, because without grace, there is no hope. But with grace, there is a way back. Grace is what bridges the gap between a holy God and imperfect people. And it comes through faith. Faith is simply trusting, believing, depending on what Jesus has already done. Not what you can do, not what you will do, but what has already been finished. When Jesus said, "It is finished," He meant the work of salvation was complete. There is nothing you can add to it, and there is nothing you can take from it. All you can do is receive it. But here is where many people get it wrong. They receive grace, but still live like they have to earn it. They are constantly trying to prove themselves to God, trying to be perfect, trying to never make mistakes, trying to deserve His love. And when they fail, they feel condemned. I feel rejected. They feel like God is far from them. But listen carefully. God's love for you is not based on your performance. It is based on His nature, and His nature does not change. Grace is not fragile. Grace does not expire. Grace does not run out because you made a mistake. That doesn't mean we take grace for granted. It means we understand it properly. Grace is not a license to sin. It is the power to overcome sin. Because when you truly understand grace, it changes your heart. You don't obey God out of fear. You obey Him out of love. You don't follow Him because you are trying to earn something. You follow Him because you have already received everything. That is the difference. Grace transforms from the inside out. It doesn't force change, it produces change. Think about a child who knows they are deeply loved. They don't obey because they are afraid of being thrown away. They obey because they trust the one who loves them. That is what grace does. It builds relationship, not religion. Religion says, do more, try harder, be better. Grace says, it is already done. Come closer, rest in it. And when you truly rest in grace, you begin to grow in ways you never imagined. You become stronger, you become wiser, you become more like Christ, not by pressure, but by transformation. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." Notice that, not in your strength, but in your weakness. That means the areas where you feel most broken are the very places where grace works the most. So instead of hiding your weakness, bring it to God. Instead of pretending to be strong, be honest before Him. Because grace meets you where you are, but it does not leave you where you are. It lifts you, it shapes you, it renews you. And some of you listening right now, you've been carrying guilt for too long. You've been condemning yourself, reminding yourself of your past, thinking you are not worthy. But hear this clearly, if God has forgiven you, why are you still holding on to it? If God has released you, why are you still in chains? Grace has already made a way. You don't have to stay in that place. You don't have to keep punishing yourself. Receive the grace. Walk in freedom. Live in the truth that you are loved, accepted, and forgiven. Not because of what you've done, but because of what Jesus has done. And when you understand this, your life will change. Your mindset will change. Your relationship with God will change. You will no longer run away from Him when you fail. You will run toward Him. Because you know, He is not waiting to condemn you. He is ready to restore you. That is the power of grace. So today, Stop striving. Stop trying to earn what is already yours. Receive it, believe it, walk in it. You are saved not by works, but by grace. And that grace is more than enough. If this message has spoken to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, stay connected, and keep growing in grace.